Hey, everybody, we are getting ready to tell you what our favorite underrated movies are so that you can go watch them after this video.
That's right, Steve. And we are going to show you those movies right now.
All right, Mike. Well, here we are getting ready to talk about what are some of our favorite underrated movies that a lot of people probably have never seen before. But we're going to fix that today because when this video's done, you're going to have six. That's right, six movie titles. And I promise at least one of those six you haven't seen, if not more. But before we do that, Mike, we need to do something very important. And would you like the honors of calling out our very special members of the channel?
Sure.
All right.
Patrons. We have 3 levels right now. We have May the Force Be With You, which is very, very empty right now. We have Get to the Joppa level with Kyle from Flet's Movies and Pop Culture 13. Get ready for surprise level with Jennifer Armstrong, Val's Views, Kirsten Marie, Larry Warner, Travis Dale, and Denisha Lane. And we want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel because it keeps the lights on. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely does, Michael, and we really thank you guys for your faithful support every single month. And if you are watching this and you are not a member of our Patreon, guess what? You can be. Simply go to patreon.com/The Movie Bros React all together, and you will be able to see our different tiers that Michael was just talking about. And you may even see additional tiers added. You never know what we're going to be up to over here at the Movie Bros React, right, Mike?
That's right. They won't be tears of sadness. They'll be tears of joy.
I like that. Oh, well, how about we get started, Mike? You want to kick off with the lists?
Sure. Not only are these underrated, but these are also movies that Steve and I find fantastically wonderful. And at least for me, I know I could watch them all the time. I could watch it day after day. Number 1. So my first movie that I find very underrated is from the 1980s, and it's UHF with Weird Al. It had Weird Al, Michael Richards, Victoria Jackson, and Fran Dresser, just to name a few. And I thought that for the money that they put into this thing, they used their imagination, and it was fantastic. I loved their humor. I loved the video production value of it. And even though Weird Al is just a music performer, he did such a great job in this video or in this movie. And I love Victoria Jackson and I love Fran Dresser in the movie too. And just to have them there, the chemistry just kicked it up a notch, and the bad guy was great, and just all the little bitty things. They weren't really Easter eggs. They were just like little bitty snippets of fun throughout the whole movie. And it just made the movie. And I could just watch this movie over and over again. I even say a lot of the lines, from the movie that it's so much fun. Have you seen it, Steve?
Oh yeah, many times. And I remember seeing it with you way back in the night.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is a really funny movie. I enjoy it too. Makes you laugh, and Weird Al does a great job of keeping it that light humor, and a lot of pun type of lines in the movie, which I love.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really good. So that's a good choice, man. Great first choice.
Thank you.
Well, absolutely.
And Steve, what's yours? Number 2.
Yeah, for me, the first one I'm going to say is one of my all-time favorite movies, and just as you said, could literally watch it any day, all day. And it is Who's Harry Crumb from 1989, and John Candy produced the movie and stars in it, along with Annie Potts and Jeffrey Jones, and introduces Shawnee Smith as her first movie. So those of you who are fans of the Saw franchise, you know Amanda, which is Shawnee Smith, that her first movie was Who's Harry Crumb. And this is a great caper, whatever you want to call it, Mad Hatter kind of movie where John Candy's on the case because a very rich family their daughter's been kidnapped. And so they bring in who's Harry Crumb, who's supposed to be the premier, best private eye you could get. And we find out, of course, in the movie that he kind of just falls into things and things work out in his favor by accident. And it's so much, Mike, you know the movie. There's so many little gags from the fish on the finger where he flings it off and he hits the picture.
Yeah.
Like, just there's so many scenes that make me just absolutely laugh. And
Fantastic one-liners all the way through.
yes, my name's Dinesh D'Souza. You spell that? I don't think so. Try it with the D. I mean, it's just, all these lines. And he's in multiple character costumes.
Hmm.
And it's just a really, I always say, Michael, this is John Candy on all, I'll say 12 cylinders, not even 8. All 12 cylinders hitting in this movie. And I know you like it too, man. We our first video on the channel was
Very
about
much so.
yeah. Do you have a favorite scene that you remember? There's a lot of them.
A lot of them. I like the part where he goes in as the I forgot his name, Dimitri or whatever, and he's like rubbing the girl down, and all of a sudden they start playing tic-tac-toe on her body.
Yes. And his beard, his
Yeah.
triangle-shaped beard falls in the wrong place. You guys can
Yeah.
figure that out.
Or he gets
And I-
stuck in the duct.
Yes, that's right. And of course, one of Michael and I's favorite lines that we will quote in all kinds of scenarios. I know the score of that game, 40 love. It's like just, anyway, it is a real special movie. And Michael and I we have a shared love of that film, and it's really good. So if you have not seen, most people think of John Candy, you think of Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yep, some of those bigger known movies. But this little gem from 1989 is, I believe, one of his finest works. So I highly recommend watching this movie. Who's Harry Crumb?
And I think it's slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
And it's there's not a serious part in this whole movie, and
Nope.
and it's great, for what it is.
It is. And it's one we've talked about doing a watch party of
Again.
again. Yeah, exactly.
For the third time.
Yes. All right, Mike, what's your next movie?
Number 3. Okay, this movie came out in early 2000s, I think, or late 90s, and it's Bringing Down the House with Queen
Yep.
Latifah and Steve Martin, and it was, for me, oh my gosh, I just cried. I was laughing so hard. It has Queen Latifah, Steve Martin, Eugene Levy, who was John Candy's sidekick all the time,
Yes.
Betty White, and Gene Smart. Oh my gosh, it's just the whole concept of, spoiler alert, Queen Latifah breaks out from jail. She's wrongly accused of murder or a bank robbery, and she comes to Steve Martin's house. He's a tax attorney, and he's trying to help her online. He doesn't know who she is, and they have this rapport online back when online messaging first came around. And he was trying to help her legally, and she comes to his house, and she's ghetto all the way, and he's like this stuffy, uptight white suburbanite, and it's just so much fun. throughout this movie. Queen Latifah is
Mhm.
so funny, and they have so many great scenes. I mean, Betty White, you put her in the
Yes.
mix. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, just you have
Yep.
to. If you've never seen this movie, you have to see it. And then the rich heiress that comes and sings the old soul hymns at dinner.
Yes. Yes, dude.
And then at the end, Steve Martin,
Oh.
he dresses up like a rapper, and he has like a big boom box, and he starts breakdancing and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, this movie could not be any better. And not many people saw it, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, this movie is fantastic. If you have not seen this movie, go see it, and then comment below and let us know if you see any of the movies we discussed tonight
Mhm.
or today or on this video, whenever you're watching it. Tell us what you think of the movie. We would be so interested to hear what you have to say. So,
Yeah, man.
Steve,
Yeah.
I know this wasn't your favorite movie, but what was what was part of the? Do you remember any of it that you know?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, well, all of the scenes with Betty White were she stole the show. I loved her character in that. Um, and yeah, I love Steve Martin. I'm a fan of his stuff, going back to The Jerk.
Yeah,
And I mean, every scene he's in is always potentially a show stealer as well. And I just remember, I don't remember it that well, but I remember we saw it together, and I do remember the scenes you're talking about, where she's singing the song, and there's just I was like, oh my gosh, it all came back to me.
yeah.
But
The one part at the very end when it becomes a huge mess, and it's just
yeah,
like this big like knot of just trouble,
yep,
and this rich heiress who's like worth billions ends up being kidnapped with Steve Martin, and she ends up at this I don't know, gangbanger bar or whatever, and
mhm,
she's sitting there because they kidnapped her French bulldog. Remember, they kidnapped the French bulldog, and she's
yep,
sitting there, and the two guys are sitting between her, and she's like, "Yeah, they kidnapped my dog Billy or whatever," and the guys are like, "No kidding," and they end up smoking a joint together. she was she was out of it. Oh my god, I gotta see it again now.
I
Uh,
know, I know.
all right.
It makes me want to watch it again too, buddy.
I'll stop talking about it, but yeah, watch this movie. So what's your number two, Steve?
Number 4.
My number two is another movie that I know we have a shared affinity for, and it's also from 1989 as my last movie with Harry Crumb. It's The Burbs.
Oh
The
yeah,
Burbs, baby, starring Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher, Bruce Dern, and Corey Feldman. And this movie, man, you'd be surprised how many people, when I ask if they've ever seen The Burbs, they have no clue. They're like, what? What is that? And it's criminally underrated. And it's basically the story of which Tom Hanks is the main protagonist, of course, who's taking his vacation at home and
staycation.
staycation, and he has, I guess you say, too much time on his hands, and his neighbors too, and they start like suspecting something's going on with his next door neighbor, and I don't even want to say anything because it's so you should just go into it blind and get ready for a fun ride. And I mean, Bruce Dern in this movie, ex-military, and he's so it's just all the supporting cast is great as well. And so yeah, who's Harry? Well, who's Harry Crumb? Of course, that too. But The Burbs, man, 1989. You got to go watch this movie. Um, Michael, I know I've been real tight-lipped about content on this one, but uh, anything that you want to share about The Burbs? Because I know you enjoyed it too every time we watch it.
when whenever all the neighbors go over to the house and they go inside and was the youngest kid. I can't remember. Was he mentally deficient or something, or what was going on with him?
He was just his name was Hans. The young one. There was two older men who were brothers, and then their nephew.
Oh, okay.
That was his nephew. They were his uncle.
Oh
And
man.
dude, it's man.
Say
I
say
remember.
say the line.
Yeah. So Bruce Stern says, I never saw a moving truck coming over here. And then the guy, one of the uncles says, "I don't understand. It was parked outside all day." Dude, you have to see it, guys. Trust me.
Yeah.
To get the context, you'll see why it's so funny. Anyway, this is what I consider to be an underrated little gem of a movie, and highly recommend you guys watching The Burbs with Tom Hanks from 1989. Add it to your list. You won't regret it.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
All right, Mike, what's your final choice?
Number 5.
Final one is not a comedy. It is a sci-fi movie, and it is called Enemy Mine. And I cannot remember the year. I didn't get a chance to look it up, but I'll put it in the slide here. Enemy Mine with Dennis Quaid, Lou Gossett Jr., Brian James, and Tom Baker. So it came to as a shock to me because I didn't know that Tom Baker was in this movie, and I'll get back to that in just a second. But this movie is fantastic with the science fiction movie effects. Dennis Quaid is a human. Lou Gossett Jr. is an alien, and they are at war with each other, and they shoot each other down, or it's been a long time since I saw it, but they shoot each other down. They crash land on this planet, and they both have to get along in order to survive. And eventually Lou Gossett Jr. dies for some reason, but before he does, I guess his species, he gives birth, and Dennis Quaid has to take care of the baby, fight some pirates to get the baby back to the home planet, and he could possibly stop the war. Brian James was a guy who was also in The Fifth Element, and you said he was in the Sledgehammer series, and he's a great supporting actor. I just love him. He does a great bad guy. Tom Baker was the narrator for this movie. And if you don't know who Tom Baker is, he's my favorite Doctor Who. Tom Baker was Doctor Who in the 80s, and he's my all-time favorite. He's the one that had the long trench coat and the really colorful scarf that he wore all the time, and just his personality was so fantastic. I loved him. But yeah, Enemy Mine is a very underrated movie. I never ever hear anybody talk about it, and we should. I don't know. Have you seen it, Steve?
I think I saw it, but it was, again, this is the 80s, so
Yeah.
I can't remember for sure. But everything you're saying, it does all sound very familiar. Yeah.
Okay. All right. If we can't do a movie watch, I might have to watch it by myself just to see, watch it again.
I might be up for watching it again. Like I said, I don't remember the details, so it'd be like a first time watch. I remember the big idea of what you're sharing, like the story.
Mm-hmm.
That's really about it, though. So I'd watch it with you.
Yeah. So Enemy Mine, great movie. If you watch it, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear from you for any of the movies. Last movie, Steve, what is it?
Number 6.
Okay, well, it is called The Uninvited, and it's from 2009, starring Elizabeth Banks, Emily Browning, and Ariel Kebbel. And this movie, now I really am going to be tight-lipped on this movie because this is a psychological thriller, and I think it is done masterfully, in my opinion. It's one of my most favorite psychological thrillers I've ever seen. And most people, not all.
That's saying a lot, too.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is saying a lot. It is up there, easily in the top 3, 2, and like I say, right, could even be number 1. It's that good, and I've seen it, I don't know, probably 15, 20 times,
Really?
and, yeah, I have.
We're,
I have seen it
when
a
we watched
lot
it, was the first time you'd watched it with me?
with you.
Yeah, that was
Yes,
the
that
first time you'd seen it.
no, oh, no, I'd already seen it. Because that was the one I was telling you, like, "Man, you gotta see this. You
Mhm.
must see this movie." And that's like everyone I've done watch parties, I've done private party watching. Every person I can get to watch it for the first time, I wanna watch them. I wanna see them as they watch it because it's that kind of movie. And you only get that initial adrenaline that first time, but I still love it. And again, The Uninvited, I'm not really gonna say much more about it other than it's about a girl, who is
She went through some
released.
trauma.
She went through some trauma, lost her mom in a very, horrific kinda manner, and so she needed some therapy and counseling, which is a good thing. And, the movie kinda starts with her being picked up, taken taken home with her father and her sister
And
at the
stepmom.
house, and well, no, it's actually, yeah, I mean, basically, she's the nurse. She was
Oh,
the nurse for the mom, but she
oh,
was seeing her father. So
oh,
they weren't married, but
they weren't married yet. I thought they
no,
got married.
no, he was
Oh,
going to marry her. Um, but yeah, anyway, so that's really all I want to say about it. Because the rest, you just need to be completely blind. So,
huge twist. I never saw it coming.
nope. And I still to this day, even though I know what's going to happen in the entire every scene, I still get chill bumps on there's one particular scene that gets me every time, and it still does. So it's a pretty powerful movie, and I tell you, you got to, even if you're not a horror fan, again, it's psychological thrillers, not really horror.
Mhm.
Um, but if you like a good story and kind of one of those that just builds and builds and builds,
Mhm.
yeah, this is that kind of movie. But it pays off. Pays
Oh
off.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it definitely does. I was kind of wondering where this was going.
mhm.
I'm like, oh
Yep.
man, because it just keeps you guessing the whole time.
Mhm.
And do you think that this was probably one of your top psychological thrillers because you didn't ever see the end coming?
Yeah, and that's what stands out about it to me. Like the ones that rank high, the highest, are the ones that I did not figure out. And so that's what movies like that, I get mad respect for those movies because I'm like, okay, good. I didn't see it. And that's what I want, right? When you watch a movie like that,
Hmm.
you don't want to figure it out. And whew, yeah, this one that's a good point, Mike. It probably is one reason that I love it so much and consider it maybe my most favorite psychological thriller.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, man. So, well, guys, listen, we've given you 6 movies now. You got your homework. 6 movies to go watch, go stream them wherever. Go buy the DVDs. Trust me, these are all purchase-worthy movies.
Very
In
much
my,
so.
yeah, I mean, all of them. So if you are in Walmart or Target or browsing Amazon and you see, you know, come across one of these 6 movies on Blu-ray or DVD, just buy it. Trust us, just get it. It's that kind of movie.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, we highly recommend now after this video is over, go and start watching. And like
Yeah,
Mike said, leave us a comment, and we
hmm,
want to know, hey, what are your most underrated movies?
yeah.
All right. Well, Michael, any last words as we say goodbye?
No, but if you really like this video, well, I guess I do. I guess I do have something to say. If you really like this video, you should check out this video right here. It is our top movies and music, possibly from 1981.
There you
So
go.
we did the best of 1981, And also in our live stream area, you can see the rest of the 80s where we did each year. So
Yes.
check this out and you will not be disappointed.
If you've not hit the like button on this video, please smash the thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed, this is the time to do it. Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to turn on all notifications so you don't miss our next video, watch party, or live stream. We do all of it, so you don't want to miss any of it. Wow, that's not good. We do all of it. You don't want to miss any of it.
Yeah, we do it so you can sit back, relax, and just enjoy us.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Steve. Well, one last time, this is Michael.
And this is Steven, and we are the Movie Bros React. Catch you on the next video. Bye.